Hey, what's up everyone, Ollie here. So in this video, we'll be covering the Loupedeck Live. So Loupedeck did send this out to me. They wanted me to try it out, test it out, show what it can do. And yeah, it's pretty insane because the way I like to see this thing is that it's pretty much a macro pad on steroids, because the capabilities, the possibilities, everything that you can do with it are just crazy. It's just insane. So yeah, in this video, I want to show you around, show you what it's capable of. Let's get straight into it. So like I said, the idea behind the Loupedeck Live is that it's supposed to be a powerful and compact customizable console that has multiple use cases. It works for all type of workflows, whether you're a streamer, video editor, or designer, you can set it up to work for you. The idea is that it works alongside your keyboard and mouse. I like to have it below or to the left side of my keyboard when I'm working apps like Blender or Final Cut Pro. And then I usually move it above the keyboard for any general use. It's designed to be pretty compact. It has a fairly slim profile, so it can easily be put in a backpack, making it pretty easy to move between different workspaces if you wish. It comes with a braided USB-C to USB-C cable, and in the box is an included USB-A adapter too. It feels solid as well, a very premium feeling product, especially the dials and the physical buttons. They have great tactility and feedback to them. It's clear the dials have also been finely tuned, as when you rotate them, you can feel every single notch, which is important as you will most likely be rotating them without looking at the device. Having that physical feedback is fantastic. You have 3 dials either side with 8 buttons along the bottom. This acts as your home button, basically just taking you back to the home page. And then each of these can be assigned a page of buttons as well. So we have page 1, page 2, page 3. Even though we have 7 pages, we can actually technically have more. So you can see I have page 8 as well. You can have an unlimited number of pages, basically giving you unlimited actions and unlimited buttons. It's pretty insane. In the middle, as you can see, it's an LCD screen that makes up a grid of 12 buttons, which can be customized to do pretty much anything you can imagine. These touch buttons also give you haptic feedback, so you know when they've been pressed. And then either side of the grid, you have these narrow screens, basically indicating what the dials do. So you can see with this one here, we can adjust the volume, we can change the media playback, web scroll, change the brightness, and then you can of course add anything you like to the other dials as well. So what is the actual point of the Loupedeck Live? Well, the main benefit I see from a product like this is the ability to have quick access to shortcuts and macro actions, especially if you're a power user. The way it works is that you have custom profiles for apps such as OBS, Lightroom, Final Cut Pro, and many more. Each profile contains preloaded actions for a specified app. The Loupedeck Live can also automatically change the profile when it detects a compatible app in dynamic mode, but it doesn't end there. You can also load your own profiles. You can go to the Loupedeck website and download custom profiles for a bunch of apps. For example, I've recently started learning Blender, and Blender has a lot of shortcuts. If anyone has used Blender before, I'm sure you'll be well aware. You can download the custom Blender profile and load it directly into the Loupedeck Live. It's super easy, taking less than 5 minutes. You can see here, I have these Blender shortcuts set up. I can swipe between these pages here, well, for the dials, and then I can also swipe across the pages, of course. But yeah, there's just an absolute ton of shortcuts here. And yeah, if you're someone who uses Blender a lot, this will be very, very useful because there's just so many shortcuts to learn. And if there's something that you don't use that often, you can just assign it to anywhere, really, anywhere you like. Any sort of keyboard shortcuts can be added as well. You're not limited to what you have here. You can really customize it to the way you like. So here I have Lightroom Classic open, and I have some pictures here, and we can automatically see that Loupedeck has opened up the Lightroom Classic profile. So I don't need to do anything. It just does that automatically. I can choose number 1 to go to my library. I can go between each of the pictures. I can rate them, whatever I need to do. And then when I'm ready, I can press 2 to go into edit mode. And then I can use 6 and 7 to go between the pictures. So let's choose this picture here. And then I can start editing pretty much. So I can adjust the exposure, get the exposure up. I can bring down the highlights. I like to bring down my highlights a lot, especially in this picture. Bring up the shadows. We can swipe, bring down the whites again, just add some dynamic range to the image. And then we can go over to workspace 4, which is basically just color adjustments and stuff. And as you can see, there are so many color adjustments here. You can swipe between them and use the dials to edit them. So for example, let's go back up. Actually, let's go back to workspace 2 and bring up the temperature, because I do think the image needs to be a bit warmer, like so. And then we'll go back to workspace 4. And then what I like to do is I actually like to desaturate the blues a little bit, because the car is supposed to be grey. So I want to make it look a bit more grey. And yeah, with this, I can adjust the hue, and then I can just click in to reset it as well. That's one thing I forgot to mention. You can actually click in on the dials. They're not just rotary. They do function as buttons as well. I can adjust the luminance. So I can bring down the luminance of the blue like so. Same with this blue here, well, aqua, I guess. Bring that down. And then maybe we can go to the yellows. Change, well, the oranges and yellows. Change the hue of that, like so. But yeah, there's just so much you can do. And then, you know, if I'm happy with that, I can go to copy all settings. I can then paste it onto the next image. And there we are. Very simple and easy. I can do pretty much everything that I need to right here on the Loupedeck rather than actually using the keyboard. And I can really dial it in with the dials and the buttons and everything. So yeah, just pretty insane what you can do with it. The possibilities really are endless. Next up, we have Final Cut Pro. And again, it's already loaded up the Final Cut Pro profile. I didn't have to do anything. And you can see we have different workspaces. We have editing, color, and audio. And of course, we can change the volume of the clip. We can zoom in on the timeline if we want to. If we go to editing, we can see all the tools we have available to us. If we go to, well, we can go back to the homepage, we can go back to color, and we can see all the color adjustments we have available. In here, I can adjust things like the temperature. So I can bring it up or down if I need to, and I can make really fine adjustments as well with each notch on the dial. Very useful. And then I can click it in to reset it, of course. I can adjust the tint as well. Maybe I need to give it a bit more green. I can also adjust the global brightness of the image of the video clip if I need to. And you can see you can make it very, very fine. Have it just the way you like. We can swipe down. We can do a few more edits as well. There's just so much here. It's just crazy. It's just everything you could need, really. We can go to the audio tab as well, adjust any audio that we need to. And then when we want to go back to the home page, we just click the home page. And yeah, we can go from here. We can also use this to go to the next clip quickly and easily. So if you're someone who does color editing and you want to do it all on here and you don't want to mess around with the keyboard, you can do that quite easily with the Loupedeck Live. So this is the Loupedeck Live software itself. And in here, we can basically make all the adjustments that we need to. So all those shortcuts and stuff that we saw earlier, we can just choose a profile if we need to. For example, we could choose Lightroom Classic, and we can go in here and we can change everything. We can adjust anything and everything we want in here, no problem. But I usually like to leave dynamic mode on, so it switches depending on the program. Blender as well, we can go in here. We can see all the shortcuts we have. We can even add more pages of shortcuts if we want to. Quite easily. So if we go back to the macOS default, we can see sort of the general screen that I would have when I'm not in an application and I'm just want to use it when I'm browsing, when I'm just doing anything and everything. So yeah, have screen capture, lock screen, spotlight, some favorite apps and websites and media playback. So I can control Spotify. This toggle like here is also very useful. If I like a song that's on Spotify, I can just like it here instead of opening Spotify up. I can of course control the volume, and yeah, you can see here, we can open up the dials and we can see the rotary action and then the clicking action, and you can assign different actions to each one, which is pretty insane. And then when we want to add a new action on the actual screen itself, we could do things like web page. We'll add Pinterest because that is a website I browse a lot. Actually, we need to call it Pinterest as well. That would probably help. And then we can choose an icon for it. You can choose your own icons, that's no problem. You can literally just click this button here, find the icon you like, save. And there we are, we've added Pinterest to the shortcuts, and this will automatically open up Pinterest whenever I need it to. So just to give you an idea of how these shortcuts would work, I could simply tap Twitter and it'll open up Twitter very quickly, very easily, open in the browser, and I don't even have to open the browser, it will just do it just like that. Same with YouTube, I could just tap YouTube and it'll open up YouTube. So yeah, the stuff you can do with this is just crazy. There's so much more you can do here. Like there's just so much. I feel like I'll be here forever going through it all. But the idea is that you can customize it to your heart's content. You can have it just the way you like. You can do things like have macros. So when you add a new macro, you can have modifiers record shortcut, and you can have a series of them, so you can set up a macro to do whatever you want it to do for you. So yeah, that's the Loupedeck Live. So hopefully that does a good job of demonstrating what it's capable of. I feel like I've only just touched on a little bit of what it's capable of. There's just so much more that it can do. I have found that a lot of streamers like to use it, but I'm not actually a streamer. I don't really stream much at all. I want to be able to show what it can do in the sort of creative aspect when it comes to photo editing, video editing, Blender, 3D editing, things like that, and just general usage, because I feel like when it comes to apps like that and usage like that, I think it can be very useful, especially if you're a power user, someone who uses these programs day in, day out, and are looking to get access to quick shortcuts without having to mess around with keyboard shortcuts or whatever else. Maybe this is what can help you achieve quicker, better results. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out Loupedeck Live. Of course, I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe for more.